a former Gagetown soldier, and 3 family members are once again focusing attention on post-traumatic stress disorder. Lionel Desmond died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, while his wife, daughter, and mother were shot dead. Their bodies were found in a home near Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Desmond was an Afghan veteran who friends and relatives say was battling PTSD. Fabian Henry runs Marijuana for Trauma. It's a New Brunswick-based company that supports military veterans suffering from PTSD. Fabian Henry joins me right now. What was your first thought when you heard what had happened with Lionel Desmond and his family?
I'm heartbroken. That was my first thought, Harry. And it's a needless death in the veteran community.
You knew Lionel Desmond. In fact, I understand you were helping him at one point. What were his struggles that you were dealing with?
His story's no different than the rest of us that suffer with a mental illness called post-traumatic stress disorder. It's an isolated illness that you can feel really alone, and to try to get help or treatment or benefits or anything on your own is a daunting task. So Lionel reached out, and I did my best to help him.
What help were you able to give him?
I often help a lot of veterans get on entitlements for treatment that Veteran Affairs offers, but that doesn't help. So I did a lot of paperwork for Lionel. I connected his wife to a spousal group to get her some help, because it's hard to live with PTSD. We try to educate people that pharmaceuticals don't work. They really don't.
How would you describe Lionel Desmond in the time that you worked with him? What kind of person was he?
Oh, my Lord. Lionel was an absolute joy to be around. He had this great smile on his face all the time, and he was a very cheerful guy. And I don't understand this one.
Did he have concerns with the help he was getting from Veterans Affairs?
He was fed up to a bottomless pit with Veteran Affairs, and I'm sorry, but they have blood on their hands. Veteran Affairs Canada.
How so?
You're feeding us pharmaceuticals that don't work for post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's killing us. We're losing more people to suicide than the actual conflict in Afghanistan. This is alarming in my world.
A relative of Lionel Desmond's has said he was waiting for a bed at a local hospital to receive treatment for his PTSD. Is that a common problem for veterans with that condition?
It's an absolute common problem. We get released from the Canadian Forces with a 3-month prescription and a 1-800 number and say, good luck. Find your way. Get a hospital bed. Find a doctor. Find your own treatment. And how do you do that when they kicked you out with a mental illness? And then your family falls apart and your marriage falls apart and you lose your kids and there's nothing really to live for anymore. That's where we end up. And then on the wrong medication on top of that. And then the addictions kick in.
As you understand it, were those some of the frustrations that Lionel Desmond was confronted with?
Absolutely. And the thing is Lionel Desmond isn't alone. There's thousands of us suffering with the same symptoms and the same outcomes. And we need help. We need treatment.
Fabian Henry, thank you for talking to us today.
Thanks, Harry.
All right. Fabian Henry runs Marijuana for Trauma. It's a New Brunswick-based company that supports military veterans suffering from PTSD. I spoke with him from Cape Breton. And we have a break here.